Hello, what's up, guys? Today we have Joey Khamis, an artist, a very special type of artist, somebody who really draws your attention when you come across one of his reels or TikToks. Welcome to the. I'm not sure what this show is called just yet. Funny enough, Joey, I started doing interviews and podcasts a while back. I kind of stopped for a while because I got so sidetracked with a lot of my other social media work. But after I came across you again, I had to just ask, and I had to get you on the show. Yeah, so welcome.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, so like I mentioned before, Joey has a very special way of doing art, and I'm gonna roll a clip right now, a little bit of what he does, and you're gonna get a little bit of an idea of how this man creates his work. Joey, put us into give us a little bit of an idea of what's going on here.
Yeah. When I was designing footwear. I was working at Reebok, and one of my mentors, Brian, was super into like VR and Gravity Sketch, and like kind of uh like pioneering this like new technology of 3D modeling. And I was like really interested in it from the jump, and he got me into it, showed me how to do it, taught me how to use it. And I just like instantly uh it just became such a powerful tool to like come up with an idea in 3D really fast, because when you're designing shoes, you're always sketching 2D, but you're designing a 3D product, so it's like it helps to see it in 3D instantly. And it's just like incredibly intuitive and like just natural to design with, and get your ideas out like much quicker than normal.
And when you said that you were working at Reebok, were you a designer at Reebok, a sneaker designer?
Yeah, so that was when I started as a footwear design apprentice, back in like 2019, and then I was there for like a few years, as like a full-time designer.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's awesome. And as when you were an apprentice, what would you use to design sneakers? Was that all like on Sketch, pen and paper, or was this the type of thing where you're also using a computer, just not VR?
Yeah, it's a mix of everything. I didn't really use the VR that much. It's still kind of it is becoming more like relevant now to my work and other designers' work, but at the time it was still kind of like, and it's still not in like traditional footwear design. It's not as like as practical yet. It's getting there, but for the way we design shoes, it was a lot of pen and paper sketches, iPad sketch, Photoshop, Illustrator is a huge thing that we use. Every footwear designer still, and probably will for a long time, use that. But yeah, so it's just a mixed media of things. People use different stuff. Some people just cut up shoes, don't even sketch. Like you can do whatever. But yeah, mostly just like digital sketching for me.
Yeah, that's dope. I mean, it seems like from the videos that you've posted, it looks like it's you're one with the VR. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you using Gravity Sketch? Is that what you're using, or are you using some other software on VR?
Yeah, it's called Gravity Sketch. There's some other like 3D sculpting and painting softwares, but Gravity Sketch is like, they're like designing like, I think, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think they're like the two co-founders come from like an industrial design background. And so they've created this tool for like for designers specifically, and wanted to create like a CAD software that was more intuitive and easier to learn than uh other 3D like traditional softwares.
That's awesome. What's so funny is that it's pretty accessible. I mean, I know that if I'm not mistaken, it's free, the software, and you're not using some crazy expensive VR headset. You're using a pretty standard, Oculus. What number are you using?
Yeah, so the software is free, which is amazing, because most software is like hundreds or thousands of dollars, and
Mhm.
like you students can't get that, or even new designers can't get that, and some companies won't even buy it if it's too expensive. So that's the huge thing to make it accessible. And yeah, the Oculus. So I use Oculus Quest 2, um, and it again, that's like a few $100, which some people might, it might be a lot, but relatively to like a computer or any other VR headset, for what it does, it's incredibly affordable.
Definitely. I think that, growing up, I remember some of these softwares were so out of reach to like the average kid. For example, like you got a 16-year-old kid in high school who has a dream of becoming like a graphic designer online, etc. You know, Photoshop, those things were really expensive. The average kid can't afford that, but when it comes to, as time goes on, I find that technology becomes more and more, accessible to the average person. And by the way, you sell NFTs, right? So I actually collect one of your NFTs. I own one of your
Yeah.
sneakers. Were
Nice, nice.
were those sneakers that you sold as NFTs? Were those all made in Gravity Sketch?
Yeah, so those were like so I mean the name of the collection is like Gravity Footwear, and it was kind of inspired a bit from like the software literally, but like um but there's some other inspiration behind that I can get into. But yeah, all those designs were created in VR, and this was like 2020, things had shut down. I was still working at Reebok. My job was like I was still an apprentice, like it was the end of my apprenticeship coming into the end. And it's like, okay, well, they're not going to hire anyone right now. It's like the pandemic, everyone's firing people and letting go of people. And so I was like, okay, well, I learned this VR thing. And I had so much time, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make some crazy concepts because I couldn't be posting work stuff to my Instagram, which is like how I get a lot of like my name out there and how I get work and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't post stuff that I'm working on because it either hasn't come out yet or it's like confidential. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna come up with like crazy footwear, like concept art ideas that are so far away from a shoe that like something that looks like an actual shoe that I can kind of get away with posting and sharing that and not getting in trouble with work. And then though a lot of those came together at the beginning of oh man, was that the beginning of 2021, I think, when like NFTs, like the whole thing of NFTs hitting mainstream became a thing. Um, and then it kind of just like paired up perfectly. I had all these like 3D concept art things that I could kind of bring back and bring more life and create some new ones and create this collection of gravity footwear NFTs. Uh, and like the I guess the other inspiration behind that, the gravity is like uh sometimes you get tired as a designer having all the restraints of manufacturing and literal gravity and processes
Yeah,
and materials
yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like, all right, well, these shoes are designed in a world where gravity doesn't exist. And some designers hate that stuff for some reason. They're just like, it's not real design. This is like, these are just fancy renders of stuff that can't be made. I'm like, cool, that's not why I made it, but here we are.
Dude, I don't know if you remember when around that same time, 2020, 2021, I was coming up on like my own wave. I was doing my influence, educating the world on Web3, whatnot. And I came
Mhm,
across your stuff early on. I called you. We got on the phone, bro. And I
mhm.
wanted to recruit you from the moment I was like, yo, let's start a freaking gravity, like a footwear company in the metaverse right now. And you were like, yo, right now I have my job at Reebok and everything. And it's so funny to see like how far you've come. Same thing with like, just both of us, like we're talking over a year and a half later. But what's incredible is exactly what you said about gravity not being existent in the metaverse. I think that, you know, that's what makes the metaverse so attractive to me is the fact that you can literally create whatever the hell you want. We're no longer bound by the rules of physics. And I think that you embody that perfectly. The only thing that comes to mind though is are these sneakers rigged, right? Are these going to be ready to wear? Like, are they designed to be used in AR or are they designed to be used in a video game? What do you have in mind for these sneakers?
Yeah, so that's the thing is like at the time, like and still now it's that's something I need to learn how to do and like eventually get those things ready to be in these different like virtual worlds or even games and stuff like that. So I mean, and the other thing is like the designs, I go into like a fair amount of like a pretty good detail into the 3D, and it's very complex, and a lot of those worlds just can't handle the complexity of 3D. So it's like finding that mix of like dumbing down the 3D of the design and keeping the design there still. So that's something I don't know if I have concrete plans for that yet. Like me and the team on Melon, the footwear brand we're starting, we're gonna have we're gonna eventually work to have some sort of like AR filters or rigged so you can have it on characters and stuff like that. But the big focus is like because I am still like an like a real in real life like footwear designer. We want these things to be real, and like the main priority is getting them like in real life. So we'll have the 3D artwork and all that stuff that people like are enjoying, but they'll be like either attached or give you access or something to like a physical shoe. Um uh so I guess to answer your question, we don't have I don't have like because all the like the metaverse lands and these virtual worlds and stuff like that is like kind of new to me. I'm trying to like just take it all in and figure out what makes sense instead of just like making some stuff and throwing it out there for people to wear and whatnot. Like I kind of want to like have a more thoughtful approach to it and not just like come in as this new person not knowing what I'm talking about or doing and try to do something, you know.
Dude, 100%. I mean, right now, whenever, excuse me, whenever somebody like mentions the metaverse nowadays, the first, I mean, it's a very bland statement, right? Because there's no set metaverse that everybody that goes into hang out in. You know, like there's the sandbox game, which is completely voxelated. Then there's Decentraland, which is low resolution, like you mentioned. You know, you don't want to make your sneakers look ugly. Like no shade to Decentraland, but like that shit's not, you know, that's not high quality 3D work. So I think that, like you're mentioning, just like waiting for that metaverse that has the quality that, you know, it could potentially be the Yuga Land, the Yuga Yuga Labs metaverse other side. That looks like it has pretty high resolution. Who knows?
I think the like you were saying, like the word metaverse or whatever that is, it's like there's so many things. It's like I don't think it's gonna be at least in our near futures. It's not gonna be us like putting on a VR headset and living in a fake world for like 8 hours of our day. Like it's just I think metaverse really just means like our kind of our a bit what we already are in like living our having a digital like life or whatever you want to call it, like having your Instagram account and your Twitter and Facebook, and you have all these things about you and stuff like that. And I think uh being able to post a shoe, like you wearing some shoes or even trying on shoes and in AR and having that augmented like experience is just like the next level of that. So it's definitely something we're like looking into for sure. And like the ability to even to like walk around and potentially see people like wearing your shoe, like they're wearing a shoe that, and like you can have like the like animated version of it. If you have these glasses on, you can see someone wearing it. Like that stuff's really cool, but I just don't know like uh how applicable it is yet at this point.
Oh no, it's a bit, it's not far fetched. It's within reach, although I'd say
Yeah.
that it's very much so just a concept so far. And I find
Mhm.
that you're right on the ball, like what you were mentioning in the beginning, that the metaverse is, we've been in the metaverse. I think that with the invention of the iPhone, we've been in the metaverse because we've become so dependent on our phones and on, you know, just technology in general. That's when we've fully given ourselves over with it, like just to technology. I think that
Mhm.
crypto, when NFTs bring it to another level, because, you know, now you have an economy in the virtual world. Before it was just like, you know, I still have
Yeah.
the economies in the real world, and I just use the technology as tools to make money, etc. But now it would be like, yo, like we're giving over our systems to the computers. You mentioned VR. You don't think that people are going to be there for 8 hours, and I think that's funny coming from you, considering you're somebody who spends a lot of fucking time in VR, bro.
Yeah.
Um, dude, I put on a VR headset and I'm already nauseous after 30 minutes. How long? What's the average time span you're spending on a VR headset when you're in your jam?
Yeah, I'm trying to go. I try not to go there in there too long at a time. Like, I mean, I have been in there for like a couple hours at a time, which is just way too much. But like,
Shit, dude.
that's like a one time thing I did. But like, uh, I don't know. I usually in the half hour to 45 minute range for one time. Like, I know I do a couple sessions a day, but it's just like it for one, it's like it's just a lot on literally like weighing on your neck and then also your eyes and stuff like that. But also your yeah. So it's just like you kind of I haven't got the nauseous thing. I know people that put it on immediately and they're like they
Oh
just
yeah.
can't handle it. That never happened to me, so maybe that's why it helped me like spend so much time working on stuff in there. But yeah, it's like, and I don't use it like every day, but when I do, it's never more than like an hour or so a day.
And do you have the sneaker design in your head already, or is this the type of thing where you put on the headset and you're just like, yo, I'm about to f around and see what I come up with?
Yeah, sometimes I come in with like a specific idea and I have like a loose sketch just to like reference and stuff like that. But like sometimes I just kind of have an idea in my head and because it allows you to like create exactly what you're kind of thinking in 3D space. Like I can go in there faster and get at least a rough idea in 3D just from an idea in my head before even going to sketching. Because sometimes when you go to sketching, then it's you're sketching on this 2D plane, and like sometimes it'll be like that where now I lost the idea because I tried to translate it to flat surface and I lost some of the details or ideas or the shapes that I had was envisioning 3D. So sometimes it helps to just go directly into VR and just start like doodling around and getting that shape.
So I noticed that recently, you know, a lot of your videos, you first were doing them in your bedroom. It was very casual looking. Now all of a sudden you're on this
Yeah.
lake, bro. Is that just for the scenery, or is that like you? Is that where you're in your element and on the lake and stuff like that? That's where you want to. That's where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, yeah, I was like on like a vacation for that week, and so I was like, I think it'd be funny if I just did it in some like funny places, and like, I definitely want to explore more places you can do it, but like the stuff on the water, there's a bit of 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 like trickery and like the camera work and stuff like that, but it's not like because the VR just doesn't work on water. Like it needs to have like a surface to like detect it and all those kinds of things. But also, you're
Yeah.
not supposed to use the Oculus outside under sunlight, so I did do it like past sunset just so you know I don't melt the lenses of the Oculus. But yeah, like it's just like just fun videos, and it also shows you how like you can uh this whole like remote working thing. It's like yeah, you don't even need like this big PC computer to do your 3D thing and like lug it around. You don't have to lug it around. Like you can just bring this thing that Oculus that comes in a case, and uh you know, you can work from anywhere. Obviously it's like impractical as hell to do it like on a dock or like while in a kayak or whatever for like I was in those videos. But let's say I'm here for a travel like work travel, I can pop this
Yeah.
in real quick. I can do 3D work, and I can remotely hop in the same 3D room like with Finn, the other designer that I work with on Melon. Like we can hop, like he's in London, I'm in you know, wherever I'm in Boston or Indiana where I'm from. Like we can just hop in the same room and work on some stuff together, and like we're basically right there. So
That's like the biggest selling point for Meta. I think at this point, Mark Zuckerberg, he was talking about how obviously
yeah.
there's like shared workspaces, you know, be anywhere in the world, come show up to a meeting, feel like you're actually there. But when you talk about work, you know, like right now you said that you were formerly at Reebok. I want to talk about the other places you worked. I also want to get the timeline on that because uh
Yeah.
you worked at, if I'm not mistaken, you worked at Yeezy. Um
Uh, I didn't really work at Yeezy. I worked just for Kanye directly. I wasn't like attached or signed with Yeezy really. So it was a very interesting situation we can get into. But if there was other like work stuff, I mean I can give you my whole timeline of like how I got to that point if you want, or we can just jump into the Kanye stuff.
I mean, I'm down. You also work for like Columbia Sports. Am I mistaken with that one? Is Columbia Sportswear as well?
Yeah, so I started at Columbia Sportswear right out of college as like an intern. That was like a real quick internship for the summer out in Portland. That was cool. I was like on the like innovation team as an intern, and then that ended quickly. They didn't have any like open, excuse me, open
No worries.
roles or anything. So I was just keep you know putting sketches out on the internet on my Instagram, all that stuff. Um, there's this footwear design school called Pencil Footwear Design Academy, and now it's like a full-on university that Dwayne Edwards started. Um, he started Pencil a while ago, but he was like a former Nike like Jordan sneaker designer, and he's like, I mean, so there's so many footwear designers now that are footwear designers because of Pencil. And so after Columbia, I got into doing like pencil contests, like design contests and stuff like that. And then I got into this like 3 week master class with New Balance, and that brought me to Boston for a few weeks. And I met a lot of people that I like work with still, or like are friends with and all that stuff. So that was really cool. And then shortly after that master class at New Balance, um, Reebok had hit me up on Instagram, and so I didn't even apply for the job. They were just like, "Oh, these are cool sketches. Can you like?" It was like the HR lady. She was like, "These are cool sketches. Can we set up like an interview for a job?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's do it." And then I had an interview from Instagram, and then got that apprenticeship. So that was like a year. That was in 2019. So I spent a year as an apprentice at Reebok. The second half of that apprentice was horrible because of the world like shut down. It was just like
Mm.
all these like I mean like production was stopping, factories were stopped, so nothing was getting done. There was nothing to do that much that we could do, and we were just like stuck inside and didn't have all those like cool things of being in the office in a design setting with all these cool designers and like resources and machines and all that kind of stuff. um and so that ended up turning into like a full-time job, and then I was there for about 2 more years ish, a year and a half maybe. And then last November, I think it was maybe October. I get a DM on Instagram. Again, I keep getting my jobs from Instagram and not applying for them. So I get a DM in like October, and it's like from this like kind of just random Instagram account. I didn't really know who it was, didn't have any context. He was like, "Hey, I have a work opportunity if you're interested." Um, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm working at Reebok full time. Like, I'm not really doing the freelance thing. So if you're like, uh, if like I mean, if it's something like even non-footwear related or whatever, we can like, like just let me know. We can talk. I'll send you my email or something." And he's like, "Okay, like, do you have somehow I can contact you?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Right here. What's up? Like, you can talk to me right here." And then like, he's like, "Do you have an email?" I was like, "Yeah." But like, just let me know what this is about. Cause if it's like freelance or something, I can't really do that. I'm full time, but I'm definitely open to like hearing what this is about. I still don't know who this guy is. And then
So
like,
today you're saying? So today you have no idea who the hell this guy is.
no, I do. And
No, at
at
the
the
time.
time,
At the time.
it's like a few days of like
Mhm.
of texting on Instagram, and I'm like, and I'm not really paying that much attention because sometimes I get people like, "Oh, dude, I need you to design a shoe from a new brand." I'm like, "Okay, well, first of all, I have my full time job, and second of all, I'm like, there's just a lot of that, and they don't know what they just want you to take a Nike and put their logo on, like type of thing. Uh, there's a lot of that, but um, so then I'm kind of just like ignore it a little bit, and then he like follows up. He's like, "Hey, just like a really big opportunity. Just like just let me know how to reach out." I was like, "Cool. Here's my email." Sends me an email. He's like, "You just gotta sign this NDA, and we'll get on a call." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm like GM of Yeezy." And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, should have started with that. Maybe I would have been a little faster to jump on that, but uh, so I hop on a call with this guy. He's like, "Hey man, he wants to talk to you. Like your work came up. It's like, he loves your work. Thought it'd be really cool to like just get you on it connected like immediately." He's like really interested. And normally, like I was thinking, okay, Yeezy, like he's gonna like, oh, so a recruiter or a designer there's like interested in my work and they want to connect me. I was like, that's how this works. And I'm like, all right, who's he? Who do you want me to connect with? Like, just give me an email, like, or just give him my email. He's like, "Oh, it's Ye," and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, all right. And so I'm just like, "Is this even real?" I'm like, first of all, I'm just like, okay, well, this is not real. This is like someone just messing me with whatever. I'm just gonna keep going along with it until it gets not real. And then um man, I'm really trying to remember like the the timeline of things happening, but it was like that happened. I was like, "Yeah, I just need to know if like you're down to like talk to him." Like he just like really liked your work. Your Instagram came up. I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, cool, yeah, yeah, just he can call me." I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "All right, well, if you get a call from this number, just make sure you answer it." Next day, I'm just sitting around, I'm like, "Well, that was weird. That wasn't real though." And then like all of a sudden I'm like at work and my phone rings and it's like the exact number that he told, or like the area code of the number he told me it was going to be from. I answer the phone. He's like, I'm like, "Hello." He's like, say, "Hey, what's up? It's Ye."
Get the fuck
I
out
was
of
like,
here,
"Oh."
bro. Get the
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
That's
And so like,
crazy.
even then I'm like, all right, I gotta listen to this. Is this someone pretending? Like, is this someone making a fake? Was this one of my friends like messing with me or something? And I was just kind of like, he was like, "It's Joey," and I was like, "Yeah, it's Joey." He's like, "Oh, cool, man. I just wanted to like talk and connect. Like, how saw your work, and it was really cool. As I want you to like design some stuff for me." Well, they just went on this, and then like we had. I don't even remember how long the conversation was. I really had no like sense of time. Like, it could have been a 20-minute call. It could have been 5 minutes, but like he just talked about so many random things, so many relevant things, and just like went on these kind of uh like how he like talks in interviews. Sometimes he'll just get on a tangent and it'll go off. And luckily, I was like kind of aware that he communicates like that, so I just kind of let it go and let it come back to the conversation, and it worked out. But sometimes he just kind of stopped talking for like a minute straight, and like I just be on the phone.
Silence.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Silence.
all right, I can't interrupt him because he's probably thinking of something to say or whatever, or he's talking to someone else, whatever, and then he'll just hop right back into where he started, like as if nothing happened. Um, but it was good. I mean, it was crazy. Um it was a crazy call. And then like shortly after that, I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna quit my job and work for this guy. and he just like didn't want me to work for like Adidas or Yeezy under that brand or anything. Like he's like, I just need you to work with me. basically, he, as you can tell now, has in the past, like, just a lots of he has a lot of like butting heads with Adidas and stuff like that. So he's like, all
Yeah.
right, well, I want to hire someone that can, and it wasn't even for Yeezy necessarily. It was just like designing, some footwear concepts. But yeah, I mean, there's so much more to that story. I did some work for him for a little bit. Then he kind of like connected me with some of his team to work with them. So it was a little less like one-on-one, but we'd have like a week, like every week he'd like call in, just check in on work, which was crazy. Just texting him like sketches back and forth and stuff like that. Um, and then, oh, I guess at the beginning, like when he wanted to like, meet in person and stuff, it was a whole like it was a whole thing that just did not work out to like fly to LA to meet him and like meet with designers and whatever. I was gonna be like a quick like fly into LA, meet in the morning, leave, boom, go back home. But it's just like so many things happen. I get there, I text the guy. I'm like, hey, and this is not
You flew
him
to
anymore.
LA. You flew to LA.
Well, yeah. So like I was at that point I was talking with like it wasn't his manager, but it was a guy coordinating this stuff,
Mm.
and he was just like uh he was like, okay, cool. Like, we'll set it up for this day. You guys come in, meet at this place. We'll come in, meet with them for this time, and then we got to go and leave. I was like, cool, awesome, sounds good. Buy tickets, fly into LA, wake up the next day, text like super early. I'm like, hey, we still good for this time, this place? He's like, oh no, 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 we're in Austin. I'm like, shit. All right, well, I'm in LA. They're in Austin, and then like 2 minutes, like not 2 minutes later, but like later that day, they're like, there's like pictures of him hanging out with Elon Musk. So he was like at Tesla hanging out with Elon Musk. I'm like, yeah, I mean, he takes priority over me, I guess. But it was just like annoying. I was like, all right, well, I have a flight tonight. So what's the deal? So he was like, all right, we'll just wait a few days. It was like a whole thing trying to figure this out, to when to meet. And then I get a text from him like saying, you're invited to Sunday service. Please come enjoy the show. We'll meet with you after. And so it was this whole thing where like, all right, well, I got to stay an extra few days, but this is gonna be worth it. We're gonna finally meet him. We're in the same place. He's not like across the country or anything like that. Um, so I got to go see Sunday service, which was insane. And then it was like we were supposed to, hang out afterwards and wait for a couple hours and then meet with him later. And then that just never happened. So I never actually got to like meet him and talk to him, but I was like, I was around him really close when Sunday service was going on. He was just like kind of walking back and forth and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of disappointing to never like meet him in person. But I worked with him for a little bit for like a 6 month thing. Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would call, you know, a once in a lifetime experience working with somebody who's really a creative genius. Um
Yeah.
I think that everything you did was right. Obviously, the situation where you couldn't meet him, whatever, etc. I think that just the fact that you were in his proximity and that he liked you, he recognized you, he himself found your work, and
Yeah.
it really is a testament about who you what you create. Um, and funny enough, I find it to be that it doesn't even shock me. I know that I reacted like crazy whenever I heard you got that call, etc. But to be honest, bro, your work is so jaw dropping, and not to like toot your horn here, but your
Yeah.
work is so jaw dropping that it's not shocking to me. Um, I find it that I find that you truly are going to be one of the great sneaker designers if you stay on the path
Yeah.
and you're fucking. I really do. Um, and how's the
Thank
relationship
you.
now with you? Of course, bro. I mean, listen, got to give credit where credit's due. But how's the relationship with Ye
Yeah.
these days? What happened after that fallout, or
Uh,
just kind of?
it's not existent now, but like so that like 6 month thing ended already like a while back. But um I mean it's funny because like that whole like just communication, like trying to set up this meeting and it never happening. It was like it wasn't even him. Like I don't think he even knew that was set up. It was just like a lot of some of the the people setting it up were just not even able to keep up with like the schedule or anything. And excuse me. Sorry, man.
No worries, bro.
Um, ooh. um, so it was just like all that was like craziness and kind of annoying, but like working with him and like talking with him and like talking design and him explaining what he wants and what he wants the shoe to look like and all that stuff, it was like super straight up, super easy. He's just like such a like you could say what you want or hear what you want about him, about like everything. But like when you're working with him like one on one in like a design setting, it's like he's like super nice, very like helpful and very clear and very like surprisingly very clear on like what he wants and like direct with like communicating design visuals and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the it's like it happened around the time when like all the like he kind of like went started posting a lot on Instagram and then kind of went off Instagram and then went off the grid completely, and uh all the his personal stuff. But
The Kim stuff.
yeah, yeah, and like and like and it just kind of like it kind of just faded away because I wasn't really like where it wasn't like a full, it was like a contract job. Like it was just like a time, like he's like, oh, I'll pay for this much time work for me, blah, blah. And then it kind of just ended and faded and like whatever. And so it kind of just like went away, which is weird, but it didn't have like an ending. It just like kind of faded away. And then but now I like it gave me like freedom and like confidence also, like insane amount of confidence to like be like, oh, like I thought I'd maybe get a job at Yeezy, 10 years into the like I'm like it's something you work out real hard, like work real long to like get to that point. And this thing just happened so fast directly from him, not even from like Yeezy like designers or anything like that. It was just like directly from him. So it was like ton of confidence, ton of freedom after that. And like it kind of changed my mindset of like, okay, well, I want to do this freelance thing, be independent, kind of have my own brand. And that's how things started and got to like the point where I'm at now.
And that's the way to go, bro. I mean, I think that it's a blessing, that I think that with a lot of these guys, these creative geniuses or whatnot, you could you could be under their wing for a while, and then you'll find yourself in a position where you kind of think that you made it then, and you never
Mhm.
go beyond that. But the fact that you had that experience, it came directly from him, and you went out and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm about to start my own thing. I think that's the way that it has to be. That that's how the
Yeah.
greats that's how the greats become great. They get a little
Mhm.
mentorship, they get their confidence booster, and then they go do their own thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's like every designer that's worked under him in the early days, at least. A lot of them like that are there now have like kind of stayed for a while and like worked with him for a long time. But a lot of those people like Salehi or Heron Preston or Samuel Ross or Matthew Williams, all these guys that are like huge in fashion and like in sneakers and wherever they're at, like Virgil, obviously, people like that, like all these people that were kind of like under that early mentorship and designers for Kanye's like that, they all like went on to their own things like and did crazy stuff. So it's like you see that trend for sure. It's like there must be something about it for sure.
oh
So
yeah, bro. I mean, I would love to hear about hopefully the next one is Joey Khamis. Like this is the type of thing that we want to see. I think that let's hear about what you have coming up right now, what you're doing currently, how it ties to NFTs. Does it tie to NFTs? Does it? What do you guys? What do you have in the works right now?
yeah, so me and four other people. There's a designer, Finrush Taylor. He's like another like independent designer that we kind of linked up over the years through Instagram, and then with this brand that is Melon. It's like it's on Instagram. If you see, it's like MLLN. Um, it's pronounced Melon. And so it's like Finn and then Ben, who's kind of like running the ship, his idea. And he comes from like spent a lot of time and research in like the NFT world and crypto and stuff like that. And then we have Connor, who's does like all the like the tech side of things and like the programming, the website, I mean, just like anything that designers don't know how to do with a computer, he can like do it. He's like programming, probably making like contracts and stuff like that, all that kind of stuff. And then George, who's like um also another one like up there with Ben. They kind of had the idea together, like kind of running the ship. He's a little bit more on like marketing side and connecting with like events and like if we're gonna do like events and like like or trade shows or stuff like that, like or like setting up stuff like that. Like he's like kind of that guy, and just making a lot of like connections with like people we want to work with potentially. So it was like this team of 5 guys, and the brand's called Melon, and we're the big key to this brand is like combining the technology of 3D printing footwear, which is there now, to like fully wearable 3D printing with Zellerfeld. That's a company out in Germany, and we have a really good like close relationship with them to be able to 3D print our footwear. So it's like made to order footwear instead of ordering like, you know, 10,000 pairs and hope you sell 10,000 pairs. It's kind of made to order, custom fit, all that stuff because it's 3D printing. And we're launching the brand probably like end of this summer into fall range, as an NFT project. So like it'll be like 10,000 like unique footwear
Wow.
concepts, like it'll be like 3D, a 3D like rotating shoe of some sort. There'll be a bunch of variables and stuff like that. It'll essentially be like a lifetime like membership type card. So like to the brand, it's like if you're holding this, you'll be able to get discounts. You'll be able to get first access to new drops because there's like limited runs of 3D printing because it's just not scaled up quite yet. So different things like that. We haven't quite defined what that will be. There'll be some rare ones. There'll be some specialty things. You get some free, like a free pair or whatever. And Zellerfeld's kind of business model is like, you have your shoe. It's all one material. It's one piece 3D printed. If it kind of wears out, or if you've had it for a year and it's like you want to like get the next shoe, you don't just have to like throw that away and buy the next shoe. Like you can send that shoe back to them. They can grind up the material 100% and reprint you a new pair of shoes. Like
They can recycle the material. They can recycle the same material.
It's the material, like 100% of that material that's left, they recycle, they chop, they literally just shred it up and throw it through the system again to print. So you can like upgrade the shoe, like as the technology upgrades, you be like, all right, well, I want the upgrade, pay a fee, send it back, and get the new update. It could be updated design, it could be the same design, whatever. So it's like it's almost like upgrading the software of your shoe is what they've kind of like Cornelius over at Zellerfeld has kind of called it. Like
you're onto something here, bro.
It's gonna be cool. I mean, they've done shoes. They've launched like some like beta testing stuff with like Heron Preston and some other people like Kid Super and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's like it's cool. So like we're still figuring out what the NFT will mean, but like we want it to be at the least it'll be like a early supporter like membership access card of the brand type of thing. Yeah. And
I think that's NFTs at its basis is like it's this new way to crowdfund, while also with previously somebody would crowdfund, a company would crowdfund, and those people that invested earlier on, I don't know necessarily what kind of benefits they would see, although because of the blockchain, everything is A, public, B, everything is, you could authenticate everything and you could know exactly who was that person who crowdfunded, and you can give them benefits via airdrop later on in life, via whatever it is. You can you think about it, you name it. I think that's it's if not today's biggest use case for NFTs, especially for up and coming creatives like yourself. I think that this is a good place to close out. All that excitement is now. I don't want to make this any worse. I want to end it here.
Thanks, man.
Is there any final remarks? Just so you guys know, I don't know if I said your name before, Joey Khamis. This is a man you will hear about in the future. Thank you for coming on, and I don't know if you have any closing remarks, but feel free to throw it out.
No, just thanks for having me, man. Happy to be on the show, and I'm glad you brought it back. So yeah, thanks, man.
Of course, bro. All right, peace out, guys.